February 26th, 2024, week in review at BMAC114. Dave, I heard that Hiller was banned from the Open because he took peptides. I've been mixing those collagen peptides in my coffee that comes from Costco. Am I still allowed to compete? Let me know, because if I'm not, I might as well take D-Ball, Winnie, Epo, Anavar, etc. and compete in Peter Thiel's enhanced games. BMAC, if I can track down and figure out who you are and you are registered for the Open, no, you're not allowed to compete. You'd be booted out for admitting that you're taking performance-enhancing drugs. Well, actually, mixing collagen peptides. I don't know what collagen peptides you're mixing. But so, like, I don't want to say you'd be banned because I don't know what you have going on relative to what he was using. But what he was using was definitely banned. To the other point, yeah, go ahead and do all of that and compete in his enhanced games. If Peter Thiel was smart, he would contact me and ask me to program and organize and run a CrossFit, call it functional fitness piece of his enhanced games, because that would be fucking epic. I'd have a lot of fun programming that. All right, at Donna Washburn 9614, thank you for the week in review. Love the content and explanations of things in general. So happy you are back and where you belong at CrossFit. It is not and will never, thank you, never be the same without you. Can't wait for the Open and your announcement flair that only you will bring to it. So I'm wondering if there is anything you can do to help the media drama at the games that I am hearing. I am a Mayhem athlete and follower on their podcast, and they shared a letter from CrossFit HQ that stated they may or may not get a media pass. I heard a little bit about that podcast, and I heard they were super critical of us, and even beyond just that, taking jabs at us for many of the things we've done wrong over the years. On that note, I will say this. It's better for people to know now that there's a possibility that they might not get a pass rather than telling them several months from now. So they should actually, and I don't know if they did, maybe they did, they should actually commend us on letting them know early. This venue and this setup, people have to understand, is very different than Madison. Madison was massive, and it had all this footprint and floor plan and so many spaces where people were free to roam. And the way we did things in Madison made a lot of sense in Madison. This is different. The way we're doing things here, we have to do things that make sense for how we're doing them here. So we're still working through the media plan and who's going to get access. But yeah, 100%. There's going to be less of a media footprint there in the internal aspect of what's going on, because we're in one stadium pretty much. So like one stadium, and then there's also the spectator experience area. But at Madison, you had the Coliseum. You had a massive venue for the warm-up area. You had another area where all the gear was staged. You had the outdoor competition floor. You had vendor village. Here I'm saying we have this one area where all of the rogue equipment, the signage, the athletes are going to live, and we're going to be. And it's going to be a little more challenging logistically. So having the same number of media access that we've had in the past just isn't realistic. So we are playing with it, and we're going to look at it, but it is not going to be the same. And you know what? Like, that's okay. That's the problem with doing things a certain way for a long time. People get set in their expectations and want it to always be the same. I'm running into this on a lot of different fronts right now, internally, on different things going on. Change is okay. Change is necessary, and sometimes change is actually even good in moving things forward. To go on with your comment, you have a lot more. The training camp media teams give a huge coverage of the athletes, and I love seeing the behind the scenes and interviews with the athletes. That draws the public and fans closer to them and gives us a little insight into them as people and athletes. If it weren't for people like Sevon, Mayhem, HWPO, Proven, Buttery Bros, and others, we might not get that up close and personal with the elite. From what I understand, there's not a lot. This is what I was just talking about. There's not a lot of space in the new venue, and that could be why you can't allow so many media personnel. But if there's a way you could allow one person from each camp to backstage access, we, the public, would be grateful. These media teams bring a lot of free advertisement for CrossFit that must count for something. And so again, hear me out on this. I'm not even saying that they're not going to get a pass. I'm saying it's going to look different, and we're evaluating and determining what that's going to be. I know you have a lot on your plate already, but if anybody could make a change, it is you. Thanks. P.S. Thanks for the olive oil. Oh, thank you for the purchase. Missed out on the keychains. Maybe on the next one. TDCmercantile.com. That's where you can purchase the olive oil that I sell. I also do regular leather drops on the site. So I create I've done belts and I'm doing little keychains. Just a couple hours in the evening over the course of several evenings. Just a little fun. I like making things, so it's sort of a creative expression for me. And so I'm selling that stuff also on the site where I do olive oil. Dave, after being declared the GOAT of CrossFit on the Coffee Pods WODs show, can we get acceptance speech from you? Perhaps a limited run of GOAT olive oil is required. P.S. Add UK delivery for the oil, please. I will work on the UK delivery probably in a few weeks when all the craziness of the Open is over. But I didn't even see that. Someone mentioned that to me. I don't know what they're talking about. I'll look into it. At KZH08, would you ever program a pure strength test like the total again in competition, specifically semis, age group semis, as there is only 6 events, so would mess up the leaderboard? So whenever you program something like that, you have to take into consideration everything else going on and the broader picture and intent of the programming. Something like that can be programmed in, but it has to be balanced out with the other things you do. So I can't say that I wouldn't. I would or could only if everything else makes sense to accept that in the broader scheme of the tests. 3 pages today. Hey Dave, at Frank Curdo 2981. Hey Dave, any revolvers in your gun collection? If yes, what are some of your favorites? Just picked up a newer version, 6-inch Colt Python myself. I have a Colt Python 2 that is from my father. He owned it when I was growing up. And yes, I have a number of revolvers in the collection. I like them a lot. I don't compete with them. Actually, I carry a revolver. I have a fanny pack everywhere whenever I hike. And it has a little revolver in it. That's my protection gun. Because no matter how dirty or whatever it gets, it's in a fire. I was carrying a little Glock. I actually rotate that gun out all the time. Like every few months, for a few months I'll carry a Glock, then a few more months I'll carry the revolver. I'll probably rotate it out to something else. It's a shame in the Open. Okay, this is Dan Taylor, 1896. It's a shame in the Open that a video alone is not suffice for entry. In England, UK, CrossFit isn't as big as we do. I'm all fucked up. CrossFit isn't as big, but we do have a lot of commercial gyms, such as JD gyms, which are now set up for CrossFit. They have a good range of equipment. Would be good to enter the Open without having to attend a CrossFit gym. I don't have a lot close to me. During COVID lockdowns, that was acceptable to enter via iPhone video. I completely understand for quarterfinals why you need a judge and probably should attend an affiliate. Video should be enough to validate someone for the Open. So 1.21 from the rule book, open workouts, validating video submissions. This is from our rule book. Athletes' alternative to performing an open workout at an affiliate is to upload a video of their performance of the open workout to the CrossFit Games website through their CrossFit account. Score validation for any online video submission is the sole right of CrossFit. The videos may be reviewed and scored by the CrossFit Games internal review team. As part of this video review process, the athlete's posted score may be accepted, modified, or invalidated. See section 1.22 for more information on the possible outcomes of a video submission. So Dan Taylor, you can do what you're saying you think we can't do. You can submit a video. At CalTKD, why have kettlebells never been programmed in the Open or the Games? They've never been programmed in the Open because they're just not as commonly seen as dumbbells. They have been programmed in the Games on a variety of events. I think they're great for introducing power movements without the technical difficulty of the ollie lifts and really emphasize the hinge, hip, and core to extremity movement patterns. So does a dumbbell. And dumbbells are a little easier to get than kettlebells. Although these days, because of the popularity of CrossFit, things like kettlebells are becoming easier to get. At user on 4NM5TG4D. Sounds like 24 Open is going to be lame. Noted. At Michael Wright 9101, are you going to be doing more belts in the future? I'd like to pick up one. Yeah, so I did I took a big hide, cut a bunch of strips out of it, and sold a number of belts from that. I plan on doing that, once every 5-6 weeks when I get a little break in schedule and have a weekend off. I plan on getting a nice hide and then making a number of belts and selling them. I have fun creating, and that's one of my creative outlets is making things, making belts, and working with leather and sewing. This week we had, this week is going to be a very busy week. Tonight, I'm flying up to Seattle. We have a trainer summit for our West Coast trainers that Joe Alexander and some of our team is leading. I'm excited to be going to that for the first half of tomorrow. Then I'm flying back tomorrow evening. And then this week we have the Open. So if you're not signed up, get signed up. It's gonna be a good one. One thing on the Open that I would like to say, so the mushroom, definitely that I captured that here. I was hiking through and I saw that and I was like, oh, that's perfect. It ties the workout it makes sense relative to what's been programmed. So I was like, that's a fucking clue. Took a picture, had it, and then I started thinking about the announcement and how I was going to do it, and I was like, I thought I'd love to have that mushroom. So I went back up to get the mushroom, and it's completely gone. So the mushroom no longer exists, and I was going to use it as a prop within the announcement, but now I can't. So I'm kind of bummed by that. So big week. Last week, we had an affiliate town hall. I actually showed the mushroom to the affiliates on the town hall prior to actually showing it to the world or posting it to the site. On the affiliate town hall, we talked a little bit about a medical society that we're doing. Nicole teased it. And the CrossFit Medical Society is an independently operated organization that licenses the CrossFit brand. The goal of the CrossFit Medical Society is to expand the network of medical professionals within the CrossFit community who are educated on and endorse CrossFit as a lifestyle intervention to reduce risk of chronic disease and improve health. So really excited about that. We also talked about, we had a few affiliates internationally talk about their experience and what they're doing. So the town halls they're really fun, and it's cool to speak to the affiliates and kind of read them in on what we're doing and do that on a regular basis, this once a month cadence with which we're going to stick to. So a couple points there I wanted to talk about. And the final thing I want to talk about as we go into the Open, I had talked months ago about the Triple Crown and then totally forgot about it. Dave Eubanks, who helped me crank out the numbers, I asked him to update the numbers, and basically there's nothing formal or official here, but we played with some Triple Crown numbers for this year's Big Three. Call it ours is the big one, the games, and then the Rogue Invitational, and then Wadapalooza. So again, nothing formal. No athletes knew this was going on or were told, hey, compete in these events. But five females did all three events. And so Emily Rolfe would have been 5th with 37 points, low points wins. Danielle Brandon would have been 4th with 20 points. Ariel Lowen, 3rd with 15, tied with Emma Carey with 15, but Emma Carey had a higher overall placement, so she gets the second. And Magala actually she would have won this Triple Crown concept, and with the low score of 10 points. So she was 4th at the games, 4th at Rogue, and 2nd at Wadapalooza. So she would have been the Triple Crown winner if we had a formal Triple Crown. And let's do this for the men. So for the men, there was only 3 male athletes who did all 3 events. And so Roman would have had 3rd place with 14 points. Fikowski was 2nd with 10. And Vellner would have been 1st with a low score of 7 points. So he was 2nd at the games, 1st at Rogue, and 4th at Wadapalooza. So that's how you get 7. 2 plus 1 plus 4 is 7. So Vellner would have won the Triple Crown if we had formalized this and actually run this as an actual thing. So pretty cool. I just like playing around with the numbers and looking at this stuff as a potential thing we can do in the future or play with or format or expressions to what we currently are doing and how to do some things differently or learn from what's going on. All right, so that's it for the week in review. Crazy week this week. Hope you guys are as excited about the Open as I am. And see you on the leaderboard.